Hello and welcome. And in this video, I'm talking about how to go from one-on-one to group coaching in 2024. Or if you're a consultant, you want to go from one-on-one to one-to-many. Now, for a lot of people, they understand the benefit and the real advantage of going one-to-many. And the difference is that you can trade less time for money. And actually, you in business, you want to protect your time as much as possible. And a lot of people realize that there is a balance that you need to hit. And one of those balances, or the perspective of balance, is how can I still deliver the same type of results to my clients, if not better, if I move from a one-on-one approach to one-to-many? Now, what I would say to you, if you're a culture consultant and you're delivering one-to-one at the moment, it probably might seem like a real impossible task. Like, how do you really like move forward? And the obvious questions you're going to have is, how do I switch my existing clients over? Objections that people may feel like they get less of you, and because they're attaching their time and connection to you with the results that they're getting. And how do you sell a group program compared to one-on-one? Perhaps you're thinking, well, what do I put into the group program, or how do I switch it around to make sure, again, there's even more value? And generally, that's what tends to happen. People think, how can I add even more in? And how many people do I need to get, in a group to call it a group? And the other question you're probably going to have is, how much do I charge for a group compared to one-on-one? Now, I've had a lot of clients where they've delivered one-on-one coaching, charging anything from like £3,000 right the way through to 50,000 plus for one-on-one coaching. And again, the challenge you have is that if you're good at selling that service and you have a good offer, you're going to run out of time at some point. And at that point, you become the bottleneck, and everything about your business is not necessarily scalable. It may pay you really well and it may provide you a lifestyle, but if you're trading your time for money and you're maxed out with one-on-one clients, it makes things pretty difficult, because you're not leveraging where you are, in the sense of, you got these great skills, great value to deliver, but actually you're bottleneck, you're stuck because you are only able to deliver one-to-one. Now, I've made available today, we're giving away a free PDF worksheet that I call how to go from one-on-one to group coaching. And it works if you are a consultant or a trainer as well. And in there, I break down the exact steps that you can go through in terms of how to transition. And this is one of the big things that a lot of people don't understand in terms of how to transition. The transition piece is, first, you've got to speak to individual clients, especially if you've got clients, right? Because what you're effectively doing going from one-on-one to group is adjusting your business model. And changing your business model is a big thing that, will really, I guess, pay dividend. And what you're looking for is, if you do have one-on-one clients, and I guess I'd call it more like a hybrid thing, but what you're looking to do is it okay to swap one of our calls per month, for the next 2 months, to a group conversation to fix a common problem, right? Because what you're doing there is positioning the opportunity of what group brings to, I guess, the table from your client's perspective, right? And you're going to tell them that this is a test, right, over a 2-month period, and you'll support them with the group as well as existing one-on-one, services that you offer. Is that okay? Now, what I've found is that once you're with able clients, meaning people who are, I mean, let's face it, if you've got a client who, for example, if in monetary terms they're doing 10 to 30K plus, maybe in 50 or 100,000, they don't need a lot of hand holding. And if you're a life coach and you're helping people who, they understand that they're here to fix a problem rather than not admit to what the problem is. We're all dealing with people usually who are a perfect fit prospect, a perfect fit client. And therefore, we're not there to hold their hands. We're there to guide them, right? As a good coach would. So with that, it's also enough for you to have that kind of adult conversation to say, hey, I'm not here to hold your hand, but what I am here to do is to help you get that outcome, to help you get that result. And that's really what you want to focus on if you are transitioning from that one-on-one to group. Now, by using this group coaching or group consulting transition, whereby you're going to ask clients for you to be able to swap out one call a month over a 2-month period, or maybe 2 calls a month, depending on how many calls you do in a month. If you do 2 calls, 1 call, 4 calls, a lot of the programs I run, we run on weekly calls, right? So what you're going to do is figure out what you need to swap based on the frequency of how many calls you do on a weekly basis. And the key thing is what you'll find is that clients are going to love it, because by doing one-on-one, it limits their interaction in terms of the group approach, the group mindset. And, there's a lot of, I guess, and going back to, I guess, where I started, having a mastermind where you and the other people in the group, are contributing to common problems, it raises the game on everybody, because everybody gets a chance to think. Some people observe, some people will pipe in, after observing, other people will speak up first. And by transitioning people into this kind of group / hybrid, and I'll get to what I mean by hybrid in a moment, you're starting to buy back your time, because you're moving the onus on you having to do one-on-one stuff into group. And, there's always different arguments. What if the topic that I talk about is sensitive? Well, this is where hybrid can really work. If you've got sensitive topics where you're coaching or consulting, it can be sensitive in terms of business information or personal information, right? The hybrid approach is what you can do is move to doing one-to-many plus one-on-one calls. So it could be, for example, every other week you do group calls, and then the other weeks in between you do one-on-one calls. All right. But effectively, you just bought back 50% of your time, probably more, right? Because the one-on-one calls throughout a week are probably, anything from 30 to 60-minute sessions if you're a normal coach, right? Delivering that normal kind of coaching service. So the point I'm getting to is you can use this transition. Now, how do we plan for the transition? Well, the planning is basically communication with your clients, existing clients. So the first thing is you want to focus on, can you swap? You position the benefits of moving into group, you test over a 1 to 3 month period, and you create a support ladder, how your clients can get support whilst in that group framework, meaning ask questions in a group coaching calls, email, as well as one-to-one calls, and one-to-one calls might be emergency or kind of like, let's say kind of high priority calls, 15-minute, calls that accelerate things or get your clients answers. But again, we're creating a structure that helps you to buy back your time. And, there's a great book that I come across more recently. And I find this a lot with business owners that, we get so busy with doing stuff, but actually, is it the right stuff? Is it the right stuff to be involved with? Is it the right stuff for us to have as priorities? And the book I want to share with you is called Buy Back Your Time by Dan Martell. And the reason why I mention this book is because what you should do in your business is focus on how can you buy back your time, so that you do actually have a business that you build with both your vision, your strategy, and you focus on it being scalable, right? Rather than something that's going to limit you and your time as it grows. So the group promise, in order to sell group coaching or consulting, you have to become specific. And what I mean by that is, if you've got existing clients, you would have used that transition method that I just shared a moment ago, the transition planning. The next step, what you want to focus on is, if you are offering group program as opposed to doing one-on-one, that means you've got to update your offers, right? Your coaching offer. And in order to sell group coaching, you have to be specific, just like probably perhaps when you created your one-on-one offer. Who's it for? What's the problem it solves, and how long? What's the time frame? And you want to focus on what's the number one benefit in terms of what your niche is looking for and in what time frame. If you come up with that, that usually is enough to set the tone as to what the program is all about, as well as going into, further breakdown of your irresistible offer. Something that I also have a walkthrough video on for our NBI offer method, which I call my no-brainer irresistible offer method. But that's one of the things that you need to do, especially if you're looking at, transitioning fully from one-on-one to group coaching. You've got to update your offers. And the whole point is that when you're moving into this approach to delivering in group, you want to work on transitioning from going from that one-on-one to group in a certain time frame. And so the whole point is, the first 90 days of your minimum viable product, as you move from one-on-one to group, or start to have this hybrid approach to your existing course or offer or program, is to understand that perhaps 1 week is a learn week, and then the next week is an activity do the stuff week, right? And that can dictate also the pace at what you expect, or the expectations you have on the people that you're coaching, as well as the people that come to you for whatever it is that you offer, so they understand what it is that they're going to do in between things. So if it is group, and then 1 week they're taking, actions, and you've got like a hybrid approach where they can jump on one-on-one calls with you, you're buying back your time. And again, most of us know this, that time is the number one resource we can't get back. And it's even more important as to why we should have this approach to how can I create a program that is scalable. So if I want to scale it up or down, or even if I want to delegate parts of it, bring other coaches in as your business grows, that's the other thing that you'll probably be seeing as your business grows. If you start looking at it right now, how you can go from one to many, you're actually setting yourself up for more success because it's leveraged. And, it's not about, are you detracting away from the outcomes? No, because you always look at how can I make sure that the people who join the programs I get the outcomes that I'm promising. And that's one of the keys with, having your minimum viable product and adjusting your offers as you transition from one-on-one to group. And I wouldn't suggest for any second anybody go cold turkey and jump from one-on-one to group. You want to have this transition period, which is what I spoke about earlier in this video. So you start by suggesting that you're going to work together until they're ready, especially if you only have less than 3 people. Now, some people say, what's a group? At least 3 people, I'd say. You want it to be somewhere where if people do jump on the call, there's going to be a couple of other people. And, that way, until you get to that kind of number of 3 people, work with the clients that you have one-on-one, because obviously you've not got that many clients, so it's not going to sap you in terms of time. If you're giving up too much time, though, which can happen, meaning let's say you offered 60-minute calls and you end up constantly doing 90 to 120-minute calls, then you just have to have a serious conversation with yourself onto how you can manage your time better and do the things that you need to do within the hour that you actually promised originally, rather than just giving your time away for free. So as I said, guys, if you want the worksheet for this, how to go from one-on-one to group coaching, just comment below this video with the word group coaching, and I'll send you the PDF as well as the walkthrough video. I guess going into 2024, because we're not that far away, we're just about to hit December in a few days' time. It wouldn't be good if I didn't mention that we do actually have, or I've got a strategy and planning workshop coming up on the 7th of December. So if you are thinking, want to transition from one-on-one to group, or you want to update your offers, you want to look at how to get more traffic, or just upgrade where you are in your coaching business. If you're, at 10 to 30K a month and you want to double your revenue in the next 6 to 12 months, then really you've got to have a strategy and a plan to make that happen in 2024. We have got the workshop coming up. It's a 4-hour workshop on the 7th of December between 1 and 5 p.m. UK time. So if you'd like to attend and you are looking at how can I, take my business towards my vision and go to that next level and unlock that next level in 2024, just comment below this video with the words 2024, and I'll send you the details about this upcoming strategy and planning workshop. The workshop will come with a 60-page workbook, which we'll work through for the whole session for the 4 hours. There will be breaks in between, so we're not just going to work for 4 hours solidly. We are going to get things done now. And session 1 is going to be about your business review. Session 2 is about your marketing review. Session 3 is about your personal and business plan. And then session 4 is your marketing plan. The last time I ran this workshop, we had real great rave reviews from the people who attended, and this is the annual workshop that I run each year. So if you are looking to attend, the kind of things that people were saying about my annual planning workshops, it's the strategy and planning workshop, were absolutely brilliant. Clear plan, strategy for marketing, all the content was very valuable, and the parts on vision have really simplified where I'm headed in the new year. James said it was a format to success. It can't help but lead you to success. Chris, an NLP trainer who was on this annual planning workshop last year, the value delivered was fantastic. Having the clarity to produce a plan for 3 months and beyond leading to the whole year is just golden. Mary, business coach, OMG, it's been fantastic. It's so much easier and fun with you, and many more. So if you are looking at leveling up where you're going in 2024, just comment below this video with the words 2024, and I'll send you the details about the workshop, and we'll help you to go to that next level. On that note, guys, I hope it's been useful understanding how to go from one-on-one to group coaching. And remember, if you want any of the resources, just drop a comment below. And until the next video, I'll catch you again soon. Bye-bye.